Hello everyone, welcome back. It is MotorFiles episode 9. We're almost to 10 episodes. That's crazy. So last episode was really fun. I got the remote start on the El Camino. That was cool. I think this episode we're going to do some bike stuff because it's spring right now and I really want to get some more bikes on the road and riding season. Let's finish a few things and maybe go for a ride at the end of the episode. So first up, here's the Tempter again. I had mentioned this in episode 6 or 7, I think, that this tire is flat and off the bead. Over here, I've got a tube from one of the Funduros that's roughly the same size. I'll double check and confirm that. But what I need to do really to get this bike running, or at least be able to tune it, play around with the bike, is I need to be able to roll it outside this door right here, which goes out to my little pad where I work on stuff. In order to do that, it's got to go up a ramp. Getting it down into the basement when I initially brought it down here a little while ago was a pain in the butt. And with the flat tire, we were basically like lifting the bike the whole time. So being able to roll it, being able to go down the road a little bit, and do some test and tune as I get this bike more dialed in is super important, and it'll just make it a whole lot easier to work on. We're going to take this front wheel off, double check to make sure that the tube fits. If not, I'll get a tube for it just so we can test it. It's going to need new rubber for the long term anyway, but we need to get the bike rolling, at least as a roller. So I'm going to get under the bike and we're going to pull the front wheel off. Okay, well, that was exciting. I got a little gross, but that's okay. That's half the fun. Was not expecting the bike to fall forward, but that's all right. It'll just live right here right now. It definitely needs a little bit of grease on the axle. So here's the tire. Obviously, it's hard as a rock and super flat, and it's in a, might be hard for you to see. Oh, might be hard for you to see, but it's 190/19. And I have this old tube that still holds air from the Funduro. And it's 190/19, so that'll work fantastic. No pun intended, but it should work perfect in there. So we're going to go to the other shop. Fight this tire a little bit to get the tube in. And then hopefully it'll hold air. We are back at the HQ. Unfortunately, the tire tube swap situation for the Tempter didn't really go according to plan, and I'll show you here in a second. So here's the wheel. As you saw in the time lapse, I definitely had to wrestle it a little bit, and I got the tube put in, but as soon as I hooked air to it, the tube popped. So basically did all that work for nothing. The tires are hard as a rock. Bronco the Wonder Dog is hanging out today down in the HQ. So the tires were hard as a rock. So I'm basically at square one on this project. That's the thing with working on bikes. I kind of had a feeling when I was going to do this that it was kind of a 50-50 chance whether or not the tube would hold or get pinched and pop. So, you know, that's just the chances you take. And it wasn't too much work. You know, it was more fun than anything just to work with the tire. So we're going to have to replace these tires when the bike's running and roadworthy. So I'm going to get set up. I've got it on a little mover's dolly. I've got these blocks that I was going to try to put under it, but I don't really need to. Get everything set up. I'm going to put the wheel back on. Got the wheel on, as you can see. Right here, everything's torqued down to spec, tightened, speedo cables put back on. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to hold off on some Tempter stuff. I've got one thing I need to finish up, and then we're going to probably the next bike episode roll it out, get it to fire up, and then we'll see, you know, what it needs to be ready for the road. But so the bike's on pause right now, and then we will solve this tire issue probably after I get it running. We'll go in and we'll get a good set of tires for it. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to take you over to the black Funduro, give you a couple updates on that, and then I will show you what we're going to work on for the rest of the episode. Well, we're out here on the pad. Here is the black Funduro, looking awesome. Super happy with it. She's all done. She runs fantastic. Since the last time you saw her on the channel, I upgraded the mirrors to some that were in better condition that I had. Same factory mirrors. And then put some hand guards on it to cover up the levers and keep the wind off your hands. Been running great. Been riding it here and there. Getting gas through it. And yeah, it starts right up. No problems. I got the steering lock. Let's go get the keys. But I'm super happy with this build. It is for sale. I have it listed on Facebook Marketplace. Feel free to drop a comment if you're interested. Be happy to send you the link and we can work something out. Everything's great. I did notice when I was riding it that the clutch lever is a little weird. The clutch was engaging odd, so I adjusted the cable. It's kind of down. I think it was dropped before I got it, so I'm going to work on that and see if I can bend the clutch lever up a little bit. So it's in a more natural position, and then maybe put a little bit of paint here. Looks like we have some red overspray, so I'll put a little black paint there. Other than that, the bike's great. So if you're interested, let me know. I'd be happy to send you the link and work something out. It's a wonderful bike, great for beginners, good all-arounder. The only thing it really needs are some new tires. And I mean, the tires hold air, they're fine. They're just a little hard, so you can't really take corners that well or that fast like you normally could with a fresh set of tires. The next owner is going to want to put some better rubber on it anyway, but everything else is running fantastic. So I'm going to get this moved out of the way, and we're going to bring my red Funduro over, and then I'll show you what we're going to do on that bike. Got a couple things that's going to be interesting. Okay, we're here with the red Funduro. So I've got two things I want to do. First up, in an earlier short, I put these pegs on here, and these are from a 1250 GS, but I modified them to work on this bike. I got these hard mounted here, but they don't fold in. So what I need to do is I need to pull this peg off and trim this down a little bit with the grinder, so that way it can rotate up and down. Because right now, if I were to drop it on either side, this would probably dig into the ground or my boot. Could break an ankle, bend this, it wouldn't be good. Also, a nice part about these pegs is they have a little adjustment screw right here where you can add spacers and you can adjust the camber. So I can make them sit flat, I can make them sit up, and maybe a little bit of camber would be nice. I don't mind where it's sitting right now. And then they have a hole right here, so I'll be able to, I have springs for them, and I'll be able to line up a spring, so that way it'll be sprung and it'll work great. So I'm gonna grab some tools, we're gonna get this peg removed, and do some adjusting, and then I'll catch up with you once we get this first side done and show you how it worked. All right, perfect. I got a little bandana on so I didn't breathe in all the aluminum dust. I'm quite sparkly though. Here we are. We have rotation now, which is great. I'm kind of thinking I like this camber, so we're gonna leave that at least for now. I can always go back and adjust it later, but now it rotates up and down full range of motion. So this is the little fitment kit that came with these pegs, and then so there's two springs. I gotta go double check the video, but I believe it mounts like this. Might be the other one. You know, something like that. It'll like hook right here. So I'm gonna go play around with that and see if I can get this spring to or figure out the right orientation for the spring. And then we will touch base shortly, and hopefully I'll get this peg rotating properly. Well, that worked out nicely. Here's what the spring looked like before. So I had to trim the end of the hook right here to mount like this. I tried putting a little camber in. I was messing around with that camber bolt. Ended up liking with this brake riser, ended up liking more of a flat camber, so I didn't add any. But now it retracts great, no problems. So worked better than I thought. Time to move it over to the other side and do it all over again. Perfecto. Check that out. Both sides. I mean, this one's a little tight, but it's totally fine. It's better than it being completely solid. But both sides move. They're sprung. It's tight and right. Had to trim the top of the spring just a little bit. Shouldn't catch on anything. Got the camber bolts lined up. And I'd say that's pretty close to stock. Just because a company has a listing and the part says it doesn't fit your bike, if it's close enough and it's a similar model, similar year, you can definitely make it work. I've got quite a few parts on this bike that weren't necessarily made for it, but I've adapted it to fit. It just takes a little bit of ingenuity and a little bit of elbow grease. So if you see something that looks close, as long as it's not too expensive, it's not breaking the bank, go try it. You never know what you might find. You know, like I said, these guys that made these pegs said it didn't fit this bike. And look, it fits the bike. I'm going to flip the bike around one more time and we'll do the final modification for this episode. I'll show you what that is shortly. The bike has been turned around, as you can see. I got a little carried away and took this side panel off from the seat because my brother used to have a DRZ 400 and he had this little toolkit. Shout out to Julian. I commandeered it because he doesn't need it. And I was figuring we'd mount it like this and have tools on the bike. So if I do some off-roading, I don't have to have this big old clunky top case. And I can keep all the basic tools right here out of the way. Future episode, I'm going to do something about the rear tail section and taillight, so we'll have a bit more access here. But yeah, I'm liking that. That looks like a nice little spot. Only thing I had to do is drill a couple holes right here in the mud guard. It's a fun bike. You know, a lot of people are very big on originality, and that's great. If you have a blue chip collectible motorcycle, keep it all original. But I believe personally that I'm not saving my bike for the next guy. I'm the owner of this bike. Life is short. I'm having fun. So I'm going to trick it out the way I want to, the way I like it. And you should do the same. You know, some vehicles, some cars, some bikes, you should keep all original because they have that pedigree and they've been kept all original. Myself, I like tricking them out. You know, I've got upgraded mirrors. I've got heated grips. I've got bark busters. You know, I've got these pegs I just finished. It's your bike. Build it the way you want to. And don't judge others because they built it the way that maybe you didn't approve of. Enough of my soapbox. Back to this. So, got some holes right here. Like I said, not original. And we're gonna do zip ties for right now, just because I may want to move it later on. But I think that orientation is going to work great. Move the keys out of the way here. There'll be plenty of clearance for when I jump it. And it'll still mount inboard of the bags. So I do want to do a soft bag like we did on the black bike as well. We'll figure that out. So I'm going to get it all set up and let's get this tool roll kit, waterproof tool kit installed. Well, as you saw, we got it mounted. It looks really nice. Let's see if I can take it off. Yeah, I can get to everything. Need to clean this thing out and figure out what I'm going to put in it. Maybe that'll be for a future episode. It's really easy for me to Yeah, perfect. Nice and watertight. Has a little bit of flex to it. Zip tied right here and right here, so I could easily remove it. I did grab one of my hard touring bags. So see, go wide angle. Let's see if this will mount. Ready? Boom. Not touching. Looks good. Perfect. We got some more capacity on this thing. That's going to do it for the mods for this episode. It's spring, so I've got more time to work outside. I've got a couple more things I have planned for this. I think I'm going to go a bit more radical with it, because why not? Definitely want to make some adjustments, make it a bit more enduro inspired, a bit more fun, a bit more less touring, more off-road, and we're definitely going to ride it soon. Stay tuned for a future episode on that. Next episode is going to be an El Camino one. I've got a couple things I want to install. A little minor, but it'll be interesting and it'll be good for people to see, because I think a lot of people who have a similar power plant to what I have in the El Camino would benefit from it. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, build it your way. Don't save it for the next guy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.